Hey besties, how are you? It's Michelle Ambrose, your girl, coming back with another episode of Dropping Dimes Basketball Diaries. So episode five, woohoo, five. So how are you guys feeling? You must like it because you're subscribed and you're checking me out every other Friday. So congratulations. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in to my podcast.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
You are now in the game with Dropping Dimes, Basketball Diaries with Michelle Ambrose, giving you the good, the bad, and the full court press. A mother's love of the game while navigating her son through high school basketball, prep school, university, and beyond. Get ready. Game clock set. We about to tip off.
You know, I'm still excited. The fact that I thought about this, I said months, but it's been years. It's literally has been years that I've thought about doing this podcast and just really sharing my story, sharing what I've gone through as a supportive mother to a D1 scholarship player. It's been a journey. It's been a minute. So when I look at kind of like just the whole endeavor, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. So let's jump into this episode. And I thought it was fitting to just let you know, again, some of the trials and tribulations you go through. I think one of the major things that you have to plan for is traveling. And I'm going to say that my son would even say that I've traveled to a lot of his games, and hopefully I can insert a clip about exactly what he had to say about me on a recent communications he posted on his SMU Instagram. So I'll try to get that clip for y'all. Hopefully we can insert it over here and have you guys listen and hear what he had to say.
My name is Keon Ambrose Hilton. I'm 22 and I'm from Toronto, Ontario. I started playing basketball older for most people. For my age, I think it was, I would say 8 or 9. And I got into it from watching basketball on TV with my grandpa who passed away. But me and him were watching Toronto Raptors versus Miami Heat. And I think just seeing LeBron James playing and seeing his kind of game style and how entertaining he is, it made it more fun to watch, and then it made me want to play more. The basketball system in Canada, at my point in time, it wasn't as popular as it is now. Like, definitely, there was guys playing basketball, there was a lot of NBA players, you know, Jamal Murray, Tristan Thompson, but I think it wasn't as big of an emphasis. But what made it bigger was Toronto Raptors, and then my generation going more to the American side of playing basketball. As time went on, a lot of Canadian basketball players started getting more recognition and started playing D1 and then going to the NBA. So I think Canadian basketball now is a very big thing, and in my opinion, the biggest sport in Toronto. Man, Team Canada was crazy, man. It really shows you showed me how far basketball can take you. Like, playing on Team Canada felt like professional, like staying in a different country with a whole bunch of teammates for a whole month that you've only met 2 weeks prior. So it was an amazing experience, and I'll never ever take it for granted because it got me to where I am now and made me learn so much more about the game outside of America and North America. Great thing about me is I have a great mom, and I tell everybody that I know that in my entire career, where I've been to Argentina, where I've been to Spain, where I've been to North Carolina, all over the States, my mom, who lives in Canada, she has been to 75% of my games in my career. She has told me many times, don't give up. What do you need from me? Who do you need me to call? Like, from when I first started getting into basketball until now, she'll always be calling me literally 2 to 3 times a day, every day, asking me, were you in the gym? Did you work out with this trainer? How things are going? And are you in positive mindset? Like, she's always making sure that I'm feeling good. And from when I was a little kid till now, she'll always make sure to give me the right people to help me with my talent and my mind.
What I will say is travel. Like, I've aligned my schedule to try to aid in some of the travel that happens with my son. And I can't say that I've gone to every game that he's played in, but I will say I have gone to a huge chunk of his games. And it's funny that when I look back to high school was pretty easy. However, for those of you that know, when your child is playing high school ball through the winter and then early spring, and then summertime is usually AAU season, where you then go into a different club or a club basketball where he travels to different circuits. And my son originally he played on the Adidas circuit when he was in probably about the grade 9, 10, he played on the Adidas circuit, and then he moved to the Nike and played there for 2 years. So again, when you play rep, right? So like I'll take basketball high school into one bucket and say that when you play high school basketball, your travels aren't as broad. You're traveling within the city or slightly outside the city, but most of it is within reach to where the school is. Sometimes you're playing in a tournament that maybe could be 50 kilometers or 50 miles away from the school. However, you're still primarily in the GTA or area of where your school is. When you start to play rep, you encounter going to many places in the States. So especially as a Canadian, you're traveling from Toronto or Vancouver or Montreal, wherever you may be out of, and you're going to places like North Carolina or Texas or Atlanta to play various games in a circuit. So first year, I think Keon was in the Adidas circuit. I didn't really go to any of the games just because of timing with work and everything going on. But the following year, I made it a priority to make sure that anywhere that the circuit went for Adidas, he was there, I was there. And I lined my summer to really go to as many as his rep games as possible. So usually when you're at rep games or when you're playing on a rep circuit, you'll see coaches. Not that you can approach them. There is a golden rule not to approach coaches. And you can see how they're blocked off in the court, right? Like you'll see them on one side of the gym and parents and spectators are usually on another side. So you're not able to really interact with a lot of the coaches that come up. But when I think about how many coaches I've actually passed or indirectly kind of had to say hi just because they're walking this way and I'm walking, it's been a great journey. I've met a lot of coaches. I've been able to at least say hi. So it's a wonderful experience. But going back to the travel, it's a lot. I'm not even gonna lie. I feel when I tell my son, like, if I was to cash in all the times I've traveled to any of your games or any travel to any of your tournaments, I'd probably be a millionaire. Like, I feel like, not even exaggerating, like I feel like it's a good investment, right? And that's how I look at it. It's an investment, it's an expense. But to me, in my mind, I feel like it's an investment because I'm pouring into my son and I want him to be able to achieve his goals. So I'm willing to give him that support by financially making sure that he is going to the circuits. He is traveling to various areas of the States to be able to be seen. So what I can drop as a dime is just plan. Like the biggest thing in which you as a parent need to do is lay out maybe kind of the arrangements on what does that circuit look like? What games will he be in? I had never had Keon have, and here's a terminology that you'll eventually learn. I've never had someone speak on behalf of my son. So sometimes in the world of basketball, you come across having a handler. That's a dime right there. Handler. Check it out. You might have already come across it. My son has never had a handler. So that means that I've always been that point person in the endeavors of my son. I haven't put someone in place to make decisions on behalf of my son. I never had a coach speak on behalf of my son. The communication was always myself or my son. There was no in-between person relaying that information to us. And you might come across having someone who will step in and try to take that role. It's totally up to you whether or not you have that person involved. For me, I felt that I was so much involved that I could navigate and be able to understand the process enough that I didn't have that middle person for us. So I hope that makes sense. So what I'm saying to you, best advice is take a look at your child's schedule, your son, your daughter, see what they're doing in terms of a circuit. Circuits are big. So if you haven't already looked into a circuit and your child is playing basketball, look into a team that goes on a circuit. We'll go and talk about that even more because circuits are important, but align your schedule. Try, as the parent, try to align your schedule as best as you can with being there for some of those games. Like, be there, be that support for your child. Be there because in odd situations, you sometimes have a coach approach, right? Indirectly. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but indirectly they'll approach. So all I can say is put some extra funds aside for that traveling trip, or make it a road trip with the whole family. Biggest thing though is traveling and being there for your child. So I'm going to leave you with that. I feel like I said a lot in regards to travel. There's more that we will touch on further episodes. But again, this is episode 5. So I want you to continue to little subscribe button, and feel free to comment at any point in time. Send me an email, hit me up on Instagram, and I'll get back to you. So have a good day. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Droppin' Dimes Basketball Diaries. The good, the bad, and the full court press. Make sure you like and share, and don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode.